Hey, sports fans, Larry Eater here. It is Conversations with Larry, the Tokyo World Athletic Championships 2025 preview. This is for day two, September 14th, which is a Sunday. Fun day Sunday. It starts at 8 a.m. with the women's marathon final. Now, it's going to be hot as hell. Jeff Shaver, who has spent a lot of time in Japan and a lot of time in China, and we spent time in China together in 2008. But Jeff tells me that the low temperature is going to be 70 to 75. The normal temperature is going to be 90, which means hot as hell. Hydration. The winners of this race could more than likely not even be in the top pack in the first half. It's going to be all about the tactics. We don't know who's going to show up. I got to tell you, Jess Ton, the U.S., looks better and better the hotter it goes. Um, I am really excited about the U.S. prospects of a possible medal. Do not say, Larry, you're smoking the crack pipe because I haven't even started to smoke the pipe yet. Okay. But that's the women's marathon, 8 a.m. The next event is the women's hammer throw at 9, qualifying for Group A. Group B is at 10:45. Now, women's hammer, the U.S. has got the possibilities of one or two medals there. Anita Wójcik, the Polish superstar, is still competing. She could put it all together and blow people's minds. But the hammer throw has such a great tradition. And I just remember in 2012 at the Nike headquarters when Nike did this unique event where they did the women's hammer on campus to really celebrate that event. And it's one of the best things that Nike's ever done. It's up there with the Göteborg 1995 pressers that Keith Peters, Mark Bloom, Steve Miller put together for the media over in Göteborg, Sweden. I got to tell you, whoever came up with that idea was brillianto. And I think Tracy Sunland was involved. So, let's give Tracy a little bit of street cred. Okay, let's see. We talked about, okay, the final event for the morning session on day two is the women's 100-meter hurdles. Now, we just found out that Jasmine Camacho Quinn will not be competing, but Masai Russell will be, kids, and Masai is on fire. Nadine Visser on fire. Titaja Kambunji on fire. The U.S. team is going to be spectacular, but there are some European challengers. Toby Amason on fire. Now my light went out. Sorry, let me just get that back on for you guys. Sometimes that happens because, my house is possessed by crazy people. All right, so that's the women's hurdles first round at 11:28. We start back up for the evening session on day two. That is at 6:35, and we start with the men's 400 meters. Now, Jackery Patterson, um, Matthew Hudson Smith, Vernon Norwood. Vernon got in because of Jackery's win of the Diamond League. Storm and Vernon is just one of the greatest, one of the nicest human beings, and totally does not get the respect about being a 4x4 god. Vernon Norwood is spectacular in the 4x4. I want to see him do well in the 400. It's going to be a tough 400 this year. I think it's going to take 43.5 to win the gold. I do not know what kind of shape a few of our athletes are in, so we're going to have to see how that first round goes. So right after that, that's it. Wow. That's at 6:38. We come up at 6:40 with the men's high jump qualifying. Hamish Kerr, the Olympic champion, is in great shape. Mutaz Essa Barshim, we'll have to see what kind of shape he's in. Is Gianmarco Tambiri going to even show up? Because he's had a sucky season. Shelby McEwen has had some kind of weird jumping issues as well. So we'll have to see how that goes with the American high jumpers. After that, at 7:10, the women's discus throw final, where Valerie Allman finally get her discus gold. I believe she will. I think it'll be spectacular. I'm predicting a 70 plus, kids. Okay. In the disc. So 70 plus meters. Okay. So we talked about that final. Then at 7:25, the women's 400 meters heats. Um, Marlene Paulino, Sidney McLaughlin-Levrone, Syed S.L. Nasir. Now, here's the deal. Sydney has moved to the 400. Now, it's not to avoid the 400 hurdles. I think she needs another challenge. And but this is going to be a tough event for her. For Sydney to get a medal in the 400 is going to be a spectacular thing. Okay? Do you get that? She can't win everything. She is incredibly talented. One of the most talented athletes I have seen in my lifetime. Don't get me wrong. I think it'll help her 400 hurdles. I think that after running this for a couple of years and going back to the 400 hurdles, she might be able to break 50 seconds for the 400 hurdles. Okay. All right. Yes, I am smoking the crack pipe. At 8:20, the semifinals of the women's 100 meters. Now that's going to be something, kids. Marie Jose Toulouse, Melissa Jefferson Thompson, um, T.T. Terry, Sha'Carri Richardson. Is Sha'Carri going to be in shape? Is Sha'Carri going to be able to defend her title? Right now, it looks very, very difficult for Sha'Carri, but I never rule Sha'Carri out. She rises to the occasions, and there will be some surprises. There's always surprises in the 100 meters. Women's long jump final. Tara Davis Woodall, Malika Mihambo, Jasmine Sawyer. There are going to be some surprises there. um, I think we could see two women over 7:10 in the long jump, kids. This is going to be in, it's going to be one of the highlights of the meet. After we're recovering from the women's long jump, or maybe during, it's going to be the men's semifinals of the 100 meters. And Shane Thompson, Noah Lyles, Oblique Seville, Kenny Bednarek. What's going to happen? Marcel Jacobs. What is going to happen? We don't know. That's what makes it a sport, kids. Okay. The next event is the women's 1500 semifinals. Traditionally, this event is a barn burner. This could be tougher than the final. Faith Kipyegon, Deribi Watelji, Nikki Hiltz. It's going to be Emily McKay. It's going to be spectacular. Jessica Hull. Jessica's not going to give it up. She had a rough Zurich Diamond League final. I suspect it was a snafu. And if you're going to have a snafu, do it then during the season, right? That's the women's 1500. That's at 9:06. Following that up, we have, let's see, three finals. We have the men's 10,000 meters. No Joshua Cheptegei, Cheptegei, excuse me. No Jacob Kiplimo. They're going to road racing. Um, can the Ethiopians keep it together and actually win a medal? Salomon Brega, our friend Yomif Kajelcha. I don't know. Can Grant Fisher get another medal? Can Nico Young? I think Nico can. I think Grant can. I think the U.S. could possibly have two medals. And Graham Blanks, do not discount Graham Blanks. Graham is one of my favorite short interviews. I've got to get him for a long interview. I think we could solve many of the problems in the world. As Tom Carleo, the VP over at New Balance, proudly calls Graham Blanks, he said, this guy's a rocket scientist. And I got to tell you, from the conversation I had with him after 10, um, that gentleman is something else. The final two events on day two of the World Championships evening session, it's the two of the events that we'll be waiting for on day two, which is at 22:13, which is what 10:13 in the evening. It's going to be a late evening, kids. Is the women's 100 meters. It's where we will know. Melissa Jefferson Thompson, can she beat Julian Allred? I don't know. Um, Sha'Carri Richardson, will she make the final? Can she defend her title? We don't know. That's why it's a sport, right? You'll have to wait till 10:13. And at 10:20, kids, the men's 100, Kashane Thompson. Is Noah Lyles going to pull off what he did in Budapest? Is he going to pull off what he did in Paris? The guy seems pretty good at this stuff. Kenny Bednarek, is it his year? We don't know. That's why it's a sport. This is Conversations with Larry. This is the previews of the Tokyo World Athletics Championships for day 2, September 14th. It's a Sunday. We will see you on the next preview.